Why she loses interest in you. In this video, I'm going to give you the most common reasons why women lose interest in men and actually make sure that you're able to turn this around so this doesn't continue happening to you, or you can stop it right away and self-examine yourself so this does not happen. It sucks when a woman loses interest in you, especially if you really like her. But a lot of times it's because our old patterns and our same behavior is reoccurring time and time and time again. Half the time I spend on the phone with my clients, it's because of the simple nature that they're doing these elements that I'm going to tell you in this video completely wrong. Now, one of the reasons why, and a biggest reason why, women will lose interest in a partner that they're not fascinated by. And a lot of times we step into a role, sometimes men can step into a role with women as they're looking at them as a higher power because she's so beautiful, because she's not like other women out there. And you tell yourself this story. And then you begin to believe this story because the brain doesn't understand the difference between the two. Remember, our brain is wired to protect us. So whatever story we're feeding it, it's always going to go back to that story because it gives adrenaline, it gets dopamine, right? And so what happens is the brain will go back there, but it doesn't know how to decipher what is true and what is not. That's up to you. So we need to focus on staying in reality. And what happens here is a woman loses interest when she doesn't find you fascinating because of the way that you've perceived yourself. Relationships don't lie, and also time doesn't lie. So if you perceive yourself as someone that is not high quality or confident, then it's really important that you start contributing to your growth in this. I would say book a coaching session with one of our coaches or invest in some programs, because this stuff is life-changing and then will give you results with women. Next is another reason why women will lose interest is because the relationship actually starts too quickly. Some women will actually love bomb you in the beginning, or you'll love bomb in the beginning. And then it's like that chase, that thrill in the chase, like goes away fast. And typically when we start a relationship too fast, most of the time it's because we're also trying to run away from something, right? And then when we get that gratification, we get it for that moment and it feels great. But then pressure starts coming. Is this really what I want? Oh my gosh, we're going too fast. How did I find myself here? Oh my goodness, we're in a full-blown relationship, right? So what happens is when you move too quickly, you're not perceiving yourself as quality either, because majority of I think 95% of women do not want to be with a man that doesn't see himself as valuable or doesn't show value in who he is. And one of the many ways that we show value, and I have in a lot of my videos, is by taking our time and actually pacing, because the moment that we take our time is the reason why we take time, is to really get her attraction flowing. Think of it as like a balloon. You're blowing up a balloon every breath you take until it just pops. That's what I want you to think about when it comes to attracting a woman. It's not about gasping that one full air and trying to blow it all up to hope it pops. No, it takes time. One breath, second breath, third breath. By the 15th to 20th breath, maybe, depending on how big the balloon is, it'll bust, right? So I hope that actually gives you an idea of how the attraction works. I'm cracking myself up in this video. Now, another reason is because she loses interest in you is because she has a sense that she's not dependent in the relationship, right? Like she's not independent, I should say, in the relationship, excuse me. So what happens here is you depend on her so much that she feels like she can't do her own thing, right? A lot of times, if you take a little bit of space from each other in the relationship and she's doing something with her friends and you're doing something with your friends and you're not always trying to plan something with her, and you also in the relationship try to get her to come to you, or when you're dating a woman, doesn't matter, then this creates that dynamic of flow and also the dynamic of push and pull. A lot of times people think push and pull is a game. Guys, it's human psychology, especially when it comes to dating. People literally wake up and are born and are like, because I'm born, I deserve a healthy relationship. That's what I got to say. That is not true. Relationships take work, just like everything else in life took work. To drive that car that you have, to have that career that you have, to get the education you wanted, to get food on the table. It took work, right? So push and pull also comes in the dynamic of this. Let's break it down for you. Let's say you're in an interview, okay? And I'm sure many of you have had interviews, right? What if I was interviewing you for a job and I was like, oh, so how much do you want? And this is what the job entails. We're so excited to have you. And yeah, can you start on Monday in the first 5 minutes? You're like, what? How did I just get, wow, this is okay. And then the value of that goes down. And then you go into your second interview and she's like, yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And you're interviewing. She's at the end of the interview. She's like, okay, we're reviewing other candidates. So we'll keep you posted in about a week and we'll let you know if we choose you or not. Now, instantly, you want the second job. You're not going to fool me. You do. So what happens here is you're not actually, you're not showing a sense. Now break it down into back into dating relationship. There's no sorts of independence, right? In the push and pull. So push and pull shows value. Having independence in a relationship also shows value. And then being able to come together and be interdependent together. You understand? So now, in order to not lose her interest, I want you to make sure that you don't do this, guys. This is such a common one. I mean, I have a whole program around how to get out of the friend zone. It's called Friend Zone No More. And if you purchase that program, you can also have a chance to be part of our membership. And one of the things is really, really critical is that I see so many men leading with a friend. Like, I'm going to be her friend. I'm going to play the friend card consistently, especially in the beginning. And then hopefully she'll see me. Hopefully she'll be with me. Hopefully she'll see that I'm a good guy. Hopefully that she will pick me. Hopefully. Like, that doesn't work. Attraction doesn't work on hopefully. Attraction is a verb and we have to do something about it, both men and women. But I'm talking to men because this is what I do. And there's a lot of coaches that talk to women to do this as well. Lastly, more continuing in this, what I'm saying is the fact that we do not do this right if we play the friend card, because what happens is we're denying our own needs. And when we deny our own needs, it doesn't showcase thrill for a woman. It doesn't showcase anything for a woman, to be honest. You go into the poll of 95% of the men instead of the 5% of men that stick out. So don't just pull and just be the friend card. So I always say, you've got to show some type of intent with a woman. And a lot of times men think, oh, I need to show intent. So that means I got to tell her I like her. I got to show her I like her. I mean, obviously you're going to slowly show her you like her. But intent is differentiating yourself from a friend to a man that wants her, that desires her, that likes her, that is seeking something more than just a friendship with her. So you may ask, well, Apollonia, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a couple examples of exactly how to do that. So you can do a physical example. Let's say that you guys are eating dinner together and she's like, do you want to bite? And you're like, you do want to bite. You want to taste my steak. I don't know. You want to taste my pasta? And she's like, yeah, sure. You literally put your fork in your pasta and you literally feed it to her. And you give her a look that's like, okay, you're there. You're not going to get this sexual look, like crazy sexual look. No, but you're also doing something that, a friend wouldn't do. A friend will be like, oh, here's a plate. Right? No, literally feed it to her. Come closer on the dinner table to her, right? Show your intent of interest, guys. You're not going to go wrong if you show intent and interest in a respectful way. Now, that's in a physical way. Of course, you want to try to break the touch barrier in the beginning of a date as well by holding her, touching her, giving her a hug, maybe escorting her through the door by opening it and touching her upper back, the middle of her back, nothing lower than that, guys. And then a verbal element of this can look like, and I always give this example because this was a client of mine that had happened to, and he was totally in the friend zone because he was leading with friendship, is this. The woman he was dating got in the car and he really liked, well, not dating, just kind of was a friend zone. And she got in the car and she would give him like takes, like, take this, see what to do with it. And she ended up not liking him because he was too nice. And it was, and it's okay to be a nice man. It's just a nice guy syndrome, which I've done a lot of videos on. But in this particular case, is he was playing the friend card too much and not showing intent. And this is why in the verbal format, she gets in the car and she says, oh my gosh, I'm so hot, I can take my shirt off. And he's like, I know, I'm hot too. Put the car in drive and starts going, I'll blast the air conditioning for you. Okay. What in the world? That's a friend. We're not showing intent. Now, how do we show intent in this situation? I'll show you exactly how. Repeat. She gets in the car. She says, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here, I can just take my shirt off. You put the car in park and you say, well, I'm going to sit right here because I definitely wouldn't mind seeing that. Now you're showing intent. Because remember, scenario one shows what a friend could do. Any friend can do that. And of course, you're going to do it respectfully. And you're not going to do this all the time consistently. I got to show intent. I got to show intent. No, you got to remember, like every once in a while, you want to peak her behavior, right? You want to peak it like a heartbeat. You're going on a magic carpet ride, which I say in my algorithm of attraction course and program. But okay, another reason why a woman would lose interest in you is because of the fact that you're emotionally unstable. She feels like you can't hold your emotions, or she feels like you depend on her her for little things like your weekends. You have your whole life pertains to her. Possibly that you don't speak your opinion. You are denying your own needs. You don't have a life of your own, and so much more. Another reason why you would she would lose interest is because you're emotionally unstable. You become this passive aggressive nice guy. So you hold it all in and you don't actually show your opinion. You go with the flow. And then when you find yourself a month down the line, very like angry or just off-putted, or you feel like you're denying your feelings, but then you're misinterpreting it and putting it on her. Now you put this like passive aggressiveness towards her. And she's like, where in the world is this coming from? And I know this can ring a bell for people that deny their needs, for sure. And that brings me into denying your feelings and your needs. It's really important that we do not deny our feelings and needs with women and in relationships. It doesn't mean that you're going to tell a woman, I want to sleep with you on the first date. No. That is literally not a common need for you to just claim something like that with a woman. Denying a need means like not only not having your opinion, but denying a need is how you feel, challenging a woman, pacing yourself, showing that your time is valuable, and so much more. Now, another thing leading up to this is another reason why women lose interest is because you have a boundary issue. You might have trouble speaking up for yourself and you allow people to mistreat you. And so this is why you have a boundary issue. Because if you are not placing boundaries for the people that we're dating and women that we're dating, or just in general with people overall in life, then you're showing them that this is acceptable behavior and this is how you're going to allow them to treat you, which is not something that we need to do. And here's the thing is, people also find it very hard to place boundaries is because they don't want to hurt. They feel like they're going to hurt someone else if they do that. And it's hard because sometimes you can look at it as conflict if you've never done it before. So I always say your values are your internal compass. Your boundaries are your navigation system, and your standards are your headlights. And if we don't, your standards are surface standards, right? What is it that you want and expect from women, right? And you have to expect it and want it in yourself as well. And then the boundaries is like, oh, my values, my internal compass is about to get messed up. Let me say something here, right? Boundaries are so important because if we don't have boundaries with women or people, they will lose interest because you will become boring. And literally, let's think about it. Let's go back to your job. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. What if everything was so easy one day and you weren't even challenged? Whoa, you would get bored. It's literally human psychology, guys, right? And so this is why boundaries are so important in relationships. And so I would really encourage you, if this is something that speaks to you, to sign up for one of our programs or a membership as we literally go into this stuff and dissect it and help you guys to place boundaries and know your value. Next, another reason why a woman will lose interest is because you're so predictable, like you are dependent on predictability. And so you also are so hyper focused on predictability that you are so attached to an outcome with her that it actually feeds the desire to not be with you. So if you're so attached to an outcome, you have to monitor your balance with women, right? So like in order for you to also get this woman to continue to come to you, you have to make sure the balance of control is at least even or a little bit more on her part in the beginning, right? Because this is how, when a woman can choose, is when she also feels safe as well. And she does want to be led. She does want to be courted. She does want to be seeing a man take initiative. I'm not saying not to do any of that. But what I am saying is you can't think that this woman has to be with me, or that you are subsiding everything and just focusing on the fantasy of an idea of this woman, that you forget about the moral integrity that you bring to the table, and you only see her as, I need this. And then you're like chasing and you're like, why in the world do I need this? Right? So that's what's so important in us moving forward. Is I do want you guys to understand, I say this in all my videos until I'm blue in the face, if you be a man of value and you will get value in women. Now, another reason why women would lose interest is because you're picking the wrong women, or you are finding yourself that it's maybe wrong timing and she's not ready. A lot of times men are picking the wrong women though. And I just got off a session today, and one of the things that I've really noticed and why the game doesn't work is literally because it takes away the emotional component and how a man can show up. And you're literally in this approval seeking behavior. So you're looking at women as, if I like her and I'm attracted to her and I can get her, this means that I'm valuable as a person. So now what you're telling yourself is that your value is within this woman. And so typically we stop having the right women come to us, or not at all. We never see it because we've been training our mind with the quote unquote game of approval seeking behavior anyways with women. And it's like the device is like, when you stop caring, like I even did a video about when you stop caring, results will come. And the thing is, like, so many men think, oh, if you don't care at all, you'll get results with women. Yeah, you will, but it'll be more insecure women. You have to care to an extent. But here's the thing, guys, is when we pick the wrong woman, it's because we're not understanding what it is, what are our wants, needs, and values, right? So many times I've gotten so many sessions lately with men that are so good with women. And I'm going to do a video about that next as well. They're so good with women, and that they preach the game, right? And they've learned this game of like getting women, and they get it, but they're not fulfilled because they're not getting the women that they really, really want. And it's just either women that are in this party life or not really interested in something further with them. And they're like trying to level up in their life, but they seem like they're in a plateau. And it's because they're not creating values for the women that they want. They're not creating standards for the women they want. They're not creating boundaries for the women they want. And ideally, they're literally not thinking about what it is, what do I want besides beauty, right? Beauty is great. I'm not telling you not to settle for beauty. I mean, not to have a beautiful woman, but what I am telling you is it goes beyond that, right? And so women want to be challenged in their own way. And when a man can challenge a woman by saying by inheriting what he wants and needs and values within himself, and actually showcases that for other people in his life and chooses women of value, then you're going to be 10 times happier, and you will stop picking the wrong women. Because when we pick the wrong women, we feel lost. We feel undesirable. We feel like giving up at times. And when we coach our men, what happens is they get to sometimes a point where they just want to give up, but they know by watching our videos, by watching me talking, and I've been doing this for years and getting men's results for years, guys. And what happens here is the fact that you are in approval-seeking behavior constantly, when you are not showcasing what you want from women, when you don't even know beyond what it is that you want. And sometimes it gives us the emotion to put up this guard, right? And so when we put up this guard, we can lose interest in women as well, because the guard then is protecting us. But why would you need something to protect yourself if you trusted yourself? So now it's time to trust yourself. And I want you to do this because I have so many more tools for you that's going to help you do this by clicking some of these links below. But you remember that video that I told you about the game and why the game doesn't work for you? It's right here for you. Watch this next because this is so significant to moving forward. And also, download this free ebook. It's called My 7 Common Mistake ebook that men make when attracting women. See you soon.